In the quiet of a Tuesday morning, just before dawn in Willow Grove, a sleepy suburb outside Portland, Oregon, I stood in my kitchen, cradling a mug of coffee so strong it could wake a coma patient. It was October 15th, 2024, and the sky was a bruised shade of indigo, barely lightening at the edges. This was my sacred time. Those fleeting minutes before the world and my little corner of it stirred to life with its endless demands. Through the window, I saw my trash bin, a regulation 64-gallon navy blue beast, sitting precisely 36 inches from the pavement, as mandated by Section 7, Clause B of the Willow Grove Homeowners Association bylaws. I'm a guy who respects rules, not for blind obedience, but because I relish finding the gaps in them, those sweet loopholes you could steer a tanker through. My name's Ethan Caldwell, and I'm about to tell you how I turned a petty feud into a neighborhood legend. It began with the Huma Low electric purse slicing through the morning calm. It was the sound of smug superiority, or at least a $60 000 black BMW i4, gleaming under the streetlights like a predator on the prowl. Behind the wheel was Vanessa Hart, HOA president, ruler of our cul-de-sac, a woman whose smile could cut glass with its calculated warmth. She cruised down Maple Lane, posture rigid, expression serene, the picture of suburban control until she reached my house. Without slowing, her car veered slightly right, tires grazing the curb with a deliberate crunch. My bin didn't just tip. It cartwheeled across my lawn, spewing coffee grounds and junk mail like a confetti cannon. My grass, mowed to a precise 2.5 inches per HOA rules, was now a battlefield. Vanessa didn't stop. She didn't even glance back. Her BMW glided on, leaving chaos in its wake. This was the 5th Tuesday in a row. The first time, I chalked it up to an accident. I cleaned up, salvaged the dented bin, and moved on. The second time, I sent a polite email to the HOA board with a photo. They replied with a form letter about keeping bins off the roadway. The third time, I bought a new bin and placed it so far from the street it was practically in my rose bushes. She hit it anyway. By the fourth, she rolled down her window and cooed. Curb appeal matters. Ethan, find a prettier spot for that thing. I stood at the edge of my lawn, arms crossed. 36 inches is pretty enough. I shot back. Her smile was a venomous thing. Rules flex for safety, she said, driving off. My neighbor, Tom, a retired teacher who lived for porch gossip, called out. Safety from what? A trash can. Vanessa didn't answer. She didn't need to. This wasn't a mistake, it was a power play. She was reminding me who ran this street. Vanessa and I had history, a litany of petty clashes over my mailbox's shade of taupe or the unauthorized birdhouse I'd hung in my oak tree. This was her endgame, a weekly demolition to assert dominance. I called my buddy Nate, a lawyer who thinks in terms of torts and precedents. Get a camera, Ethan, he urged over the phone. Document it. We'll slap her with a demand letter for property damage. It's harassment, plain and simple. But lawsuits were her turf paperwork and threats were her weapons. I'm a tinkerer. My garage is my fortress, filled with tools and logic. I don't fight with letters. I fight with physics. That Tuesday, watching dawn glint off my scattered trash, I felt not anger, but Clarissa cold. Sharp focus. Like cracking a tough coding problem. Tom shuffled out to grab his newspaper, saw the mess, and mouthed through my window. She's a real piece of work. I nodded, finished my coffee, and headed to my garage. The mess could wait. I had a plan. I pulled up the Willow Grove HOA bylaws on my workshop laptop, Scrolling to section 7. The rules were clear: navy blue or charcoal gray bins. 64-gallon capacity. 36 inches from the curb. Out by 6 a.m. Back by 8 p.m. Vanessa had been meticulous. But she'd missed one detail. The bylaws said nothing about what the bin could be made of. A grin spread across my face. Real and raw. Nate wanted to sue her. I was going to bury her with concrete and ingenuity. I dubbed it the hard hammer, a 300-pound concrete bin disguised as its flimsy plastic twin. It had to look identical from 3 feet away to pass muster. I lined my dented bin with plastic sheeting for the outer mold, then nestled a 50-gallon bin inside, spaced with wood to ensure a 2.5-inch concrete shell. Too thin. It'd crack. Too thick. The garbage truck's arm couldn't lift it. I calculated 300 pounds of fiber-reinforced concrete perfect. For strength, I welded a rebar cage. A fortress fit for a prison. Nate dropped by, eyeing it nervously. "This screams lawsuit," he said. "It's a bin," I replied. "A very safe bin." A kid on a bike yelled, "You building a tank, mister?" "Something like that," I called back. "It's got one trick." By Sunday, the concrete had cured. I cut away the outer mold, wrestled out the inner bin, and painted the beast navy blue, mimicking the HOA's recycling logo with epoxy. I scuffed it for authenticity, swapped the flimsy wheels for a steel axle rated for 400 pounds, and added a motorized platform for later. At 5:59 a.m. Tuesday, I rolled it to the curb with a dolly. Heart pounding. It settled with a thud, 36 inches from the street. I set up a camera in my window, sipped my coffee, and waited. The garbage truck came first. Its arm straining, but lifting the bin cleanly math was spot on. Then, at 6:05, I heard the BMW's hum. Vanessa rounded the corner, her headlights slicing the mist. Her car drifted right, tires kissing the curb. Then bam. Not the cheap plastic crunch I knew, but a bone-rattling crack. The BMW stopped dead. Its front bumper crumpled like tinfoil. Headlight shattered. Hood buckled. My bin didn't budge. The car's alarm wailed. A digital scream in the dawn. Vanessa leapt out, pristine in her blazer. But her face was a mask of fury. She kicked the bin, yelped as her heel met concrete, and hopped in pain. Neighbor's lights flicked on. Tom, mid-donut, gaped from his porch. Phones emerged, red lights blinking as people filmed. Vanessa spotted me in the window, pointing a trembling finger. "You did this," she shrieked. "This is assault. I'll sue you for everything." Ethan Caldwell. Tom called. "You hit his bin first." "Lady," someone yelled. "Call insurance. Not a tantrum." I sipped my coffee, letting the camera roll. 2 days later, a certified letter arrived from the HOA, now led by Vanessa's Architectural Review Committee. They called my bin an unsanctioned hazardous structure and a malicious fortification, fining me $3,500, including $1,500 for intent to cause property damage. It was absurd, but Cleverst reframed my bin as the villain. Nate laughed over the phone. "This is panic, not power. It won't hold up in court." But this wasn't about court. It was about control. I hung the letter on my garage wall, a trophy. I went on the offensive, not with lawyers, but with sarcasm. I built a motorized platform to roll my bin out at exactly 6:01 a.m. Mocking Vanessa's obsession with timing. Violation notices piled up, fines for intimidating coloration, its navy blue, and improperly stored materials, a bag of mulch. I framed each one, turning my lawn into the Willow Grove Gallery of Grievances, complete with museum-style plaques. For a tiny oil stain on my driveway, I pressure-washed a cartoonish mural of Vanessa's BMW crashing into my heroic bin. Neighbors drove by, laughing. Vanessa's repaired BMW parked across the street, watching, her rage a living thing. Her final move came via certified mail, a notice of property seizure. The HOA would send contractors to remove my bin Monday at 8 a.m. This was war. I read my deed, state laws, and the bylaws. HOAs can't seize property without a court order. She was bluffing. Monday, a flatbed truck rolled up, 2 burly contractors in tow. Vanessa watched, smug. Nate filmed from my porch. Tom set up a lawn chair, sipping a soda. Need a bigger truck, he quipped. The contractors tried lifting the bin. It didn't move. I stepped out, holding my deed and a logging chain. Gentlemen, this is my property. Remove it, and I'll press charges. Vanessa stormed over, demanding action. The contractors refused, citing no court order. She called the police, claiming I was threatening them. 2 officers arrived, weary of the drama. Vanessa played the victim, calling my bin a weapon. I chained myself to it, sitting on the grass, a silent protest. The officers sighed. Unchain yourself, sir, the woman said. This is a civil matter. I refused, calmly stating, I'm protecting my property from theft. They had no choice. With a snap of bolt cutters, I was cuffed for obstruction, led to the squad car as Vanessa smirked. Neighbors watched, phones out. In jail, on a cold bench with a sad sandwich. I wondered if I'd gone too far. But Vanessa's triumphant face steeled me. Nate bailed me out, grinning. Your arrest video's viral 200,000 views. Titled, Man Cuffed for Defending Trash Can from HOA Tyrant. It was everywhere. Neighbors gave thumbs-ups. A jogger shouted, We're with you. My phone buzzed with support. The video broke Vanessa's spell of fear. Neighbors filled their bins with bricks and sandbags. A silent rebellion. Tom rallied signatures for an emergency HOA meeting, invoking the bylaws. Vanessa had to comply. The meeting was electric. The clubhouse packed. Vanessa's polished speech about safety and aesthetics flopped. Neighbors stood, sharing stories, fines for colorful doormats, kids' chalk art, a too loud bird feeder. I spoke last. This isn't about my bin. It's about respect, fair rules, and a community that's ours. Tom moved for a no-confidence vote. Hands shot up. Vanessa was ousted, her face ashen as she stormed out. The neighborhood exhaled. We revised the bylaws, allowing durable bins. Block parties returned. Vanessa faded, her BMW avoiding every curb. In my garage, I sketched a goofy GPS mower, just for fun. Tuesday mornings, my bin rolls out, solid and unyielding. It's not a weapon, it's a reminder. Respect is non-negotiable. Was I a hero or a petty rebel? Did I push too far? Or just far enough? Should HOAs have any power over personal property? Drop your thoughts below. Hit like and subscribe. Let's talk about where you draw the line.